Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm.
You bring us the sources, we dig into them.
We pull out the really fascinating stuff.
Exactly, the core ideas, the things that make you sound like you really know the topic. We're kind of your guides here.
And today, we're heading way back. Ancient Egypt.
Our source is a National Geographic YouTube video.
That's right, Egypt's ancient empire, Egypt from above.
It's the full episode focused on the Nile.
And that from above part is key, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. That aerial view, it just gives you a whole different perspective.
You really grasp the geography, the scale of it all.
Yeah, in a way you just don't get from, ground level.
So our mission for this deep dive.
We want to figure out what made ancient Egypt tick.
Right. What were the key factors that let it rise up and then last for so incredibly long?
We'll pull specific examples, insights straight from that video.
And maybe find some surprising connections to Egypt today, too.
Exactly. Should be fascinating.
Okay, let's start with the absolute foundation, the Nile River. You really can't overstate it. The video makes that crystal clear.
Without the Nile, well, there's no ancient Egypt as we picture it.
None at all. You see those aerial shots, and it hits you.
97% desert.
Yeah, just vast, harsh desert. And then this thin green ribbon snaking through it.
The Nile, over 4,000 miles long.
It wasn't just water. It was everything. The foundation.
The video says no Nile, no empire, no incredible monument.
Pretty much, it enabled everything else.
And it's not just ancient history, is it?
No, that's what's striking. The video points out how many Egyptians still depend on it. Daily.
A lifeline across thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of those monuments, Giza.
The pyramids. Instantly recognizable. The video gives these amazing views just 8 miles from Cairo.
And the scale of engineering is just, wow.
10 million tons of stone estimated.
It's almost impossible to visualize, isn't it?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like tens of thousands of train engines worth of weight.
And the Great Pyramid, Khufu's pyramid.
Oldest, biggest, finished over 4,500 years ago.
It's just mind-boggling. The video mentions over 2 million blocks.
Sandstone blocks, each weighing more than a car.
All for Pharaoh Khufu's tomb. And it was the tallest thing humans had built for, what, 3,500 years?
480 feet high. And the only ancient wonder still standing.
But the video goes deeper than just the pyramid itself.
Right, into the how the organization needed.
It brings in the archaeologist Mark Lehner, American guy.
He spent, almost 50 years studying them.
Yeah, 46 years dedicated to it. And his work helped by looking from above.
It revealed that whole support system, the lost city.
Basically, a massive workers' village, 13 hectares.
That's pretty big for back then. What was in it?
The video shows evidence of bakeries, workshops, houses,
Grain silos.
all to support maybe 20,000 workers.
Just for the Great Pyramid, they quarried 5.7 million tons of sandstone.
Incredible logistics. It wasn't just piling up stones.
And how they looked originally. That's fascinating, too.
Yeah, the video points to Khafre's pyramid, the second biggest one.
You can still see some smooth stones near the top.
Exactly. Those are casing stones. The Great Pyramid was likely covered in them.
Polished white limestone, right, from Tura.
8 miles away across the Nile. Imagine that.
Blindingly white in the sun. It must have been spectacular.
So how to get all that stone, especially the heavy stuff, across the river?
The video shows hints of a massive harbor.
And canals. A whole complex.
And they used the Nile's flood.
Yeah, the annual flood rises like 7 meters.
They used it like a natural elevator, a hydraulic lift.
Pretty much, to float the blocks closer to the Giza Plateau.
So clever. Really understanding and using their environment.
Precisely. And that environment, the Nile, wasn't just for transport.
No, it was life itself. Food. Sustenance.
The video takes us to Elephantine Island,
Home to a Nubian community.
descendants of some of the very first settlers there, like 7,000 years ago.
Wow. And we meet Yusuf and Karim,
Father and son fishermen. Their family's been doing this for over a century.
passing down the techniques.
You see them out there dodging ferries, using these old ways.
Like hitting the water to scare fish?
Yeah. Catching tilapia, which, the video notes, was a staple food even back in the Pharaoh's time.
A real living connection.
And there's more evidence on Elephantine, German archaeologist Joanna Seidel.
Her work shows the Nile providing everything.
Food, water, obviously, but also that crucial fertile soil.
And trade routes connecting people.
Before the dams, those annual floods were key.
Triggered by monsoon rains way down in Ethiopia.
The river would burst its banks, deposit all this rich silt. Perfect for farming.
And they figured out how to predict it, didn't they?
The Nilometer, also on Elephantine,
Carved markings to measure the flood height.
so they could forecast the harvest. Really sophisticated for the time.
And even now, the Nile's still vital.
Absolutely. Drinking water, energy.
And that fertile land still supports, what, 96% of Egypt's population?
On just 3% of the land area. Incredible dependence.
Okay, so that's the Nile Valley. But the video also shows the flip side.
Right, the other 97%. The desert.
Vast, harsh, like the Sinai Peninsula.
Very little rain there. Farming is tough.
And we meet the Bedouin people.
Migrated from Arabia maybe 2,000 years ago, though the video mentions modern policies affecting their traditions.
We see Kudra Idmorid, a Bedouin woman,
Yeah, her story shows incredible adaptation.
finding plants for her goats, using desert plants, like a gram for soap.
Rely on knowledge passed down generations, just finding a way to live there.
But the ancient Egyptians used the desert differently, too.
Oh yeah, especially the Western Desert, for burials.
Sacred ground. The video shows the step pyramid of Djoser.
Around 4,700 years old,
Yeah.
filled with treasures originally.
And then the famous Valley of the Kings.
A secret place created about 3,500 years ago
Why secret?
to hide the pharaoh's tombs from grave robbers. They learned from earlier pyramids being looted.
How many tombs are there?
63 royal tombs discovered so far, built over 500 years.
Hidden at the base of mountains that kind of look like pyramids
This
themselves.
is Balak, and the most famous discovery there.
Has to be Tutankhamun. King Tut.
Found by Howard Carter in 1922, almost completely intact.
The gold mask, the throne. Unbelievable.
Over 5,000 artifacts. The video mentions it draws like 1.5 million tourists a year.
Which causes its own problems, right? Preservation.
Yeah, dust, humidity, they've had to install ventilation systems.
Constant balancing act. Protecting the past from its own popularity.
The video then shows some surprising ways the past lives on.
Like pigeon farming.
Apparently. An ancient practice. They even ate them on feast days.
And now it's a huge hobby in Cairo.
A competition. Maybe 2 million pigeon fanciers.
The aerial shots show these towers, reared.
Yeah, inner-city pigeon lofts, housing hundreds of birds.
And the story of Hassan Muhammad Hussein, the pigeon ruler.
Competing with his rival, releasing his flock, trying to lure the other guy's bird.
Living tradition adapted for today. Wild.
And then we go up again. Hot air balloon over Luxor.
Amazing views of the West Bank temples.
Pilot Baha Ahmed navigating near those jagged mountains.
You see these monumental temples the pharaohs built?
To celebrate their reigns, ensure they'd be worshipped forever.
Like the Temple of Hatshepsut.
Built by a female pharaoh. And the video notes it's grander than many built by men.
And the Ramesseum, Ramses II's temple.
Huge. Covered the area of 47 tennis courts. Took 20 years.
That fallen statue, originally 6 stories high.
And 1,000 tons. Just pure projection of power. Godlike status.
But empires don't last forever.
No. The video reminds us after 3,000 years, the Romans conquered Egypt.
And the old gods faded. Christianity took hold.
Yeah, about 10 million Christians in Egypt today.
And the video even shows St. Catherine's Monastery.
On Mount Sinai, where tradition says God spoke to Moses.
Built in the 6th century CE by Emperor Justinian.
It's the oldest continuously inhabited Christian monastery. A different layer of history.
Finally, the video looks at preserving all this.
Right. The future. The Grand Egyptian Museum.
This huge new billion-dollar museum near Giza.
Designed to hold the world's biggest collection of Egyptian artifacts.
Because the old museum in Cairo is just too small, outdated.
This new one is enormous, over 5 million square feet. Just for one civilization.
But getting the treasures there, that's a challenge.
Especially through Cairo traffic. The video mentions tens of thousands of accidents a year.
And these artifacts are priceless, incredibly fragile.
We see them moving this 3,000-year-old statue, Ramses II again, the goddess.
So carefully wrapped, police escort, special forces.
Driven by this guy, Zachariah Muhammad, at a constant 12 miles per hour.
Took an hour to go a relatively short distance.
But it arrives safely. It just shows the care, the importance.
You feel the anticipation for when that museum finally opens fully.
Yeah. And those last aerial shots, they really tie it all together.
You see the marks the ancients left.
And how some ways of life, especially along the Nile, haven't changed that much.
Ancient and modern, side by side.
It's quite profound.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, a few things really stick out.
The Nile. Undeniably the absolute key. The lifeblood.
The incredible engineering of the pyramids and the massive organization behind them.
How people adapted, both to the fertile valley and the harsh desert.
And how so many legacies, traditions are still alive today.
Plus the huge effort now to preserve it all.
Understanding all those connections, geography, ingenuity, people, legacy, it gives you a much deeper appreciation, doesn't it?
For the sheer power and just the incredible longevity of ancient Egypt.
Definitely. So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on.
Hmm.
We've seen the massive, enduring impact of the Nile. So think about your own region, your culture.
Mm.
What single geographical feature, maybe a river, a mountain range, a coastline, has most shaped its development over the long term?
Interesting question. How environment shapes us.
Worth thinking about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.